TSF Entertainment.
Welcome back to the TSF Entertainment channel. It is your boy Retro CG in the building tonight, and I am joined by my brother, Mr. Jack of Jordans. What's good, bro?
What's going on, family?
How you doing today?
I'm tired, but we made it through the week.
We made it through the week, and we are here. We are back to talk about our favorite installment of Power. It is Power Book 3, Raising Kanan. We're on season 4, already at episode 5.
That's hard to believe.
It is hard to believe, right?
Yeah.
Episode title is The Nail That Sticks Up. What did you think about the episode? I know you got thoughts.
Overall, I'd say the episode was probably a 8 out of 10 for me. I think it was a very good episode. I think some of the stuff we already kind of knew. We just kind of needed to see it, and we still need to see a little bit more.
Yep.
But I think it was a good episode. What about you, bro?
Same. A lot of the stuff we had already been talking about and looking for. So you are absolutely right. There was a lot of things that we needed to see, and I think there is a lot more that we still do need to see. At the starting gate with a $5 super chat is DeMarcus. DeMarcus says it's a shame what happened to Fame Delane. Fame should have learned the game. Imagine if Fame father Louise took out Famous. We're going to talk about that. There's so much to talk about. This was a very, I didn't expect this episode to be so emotional. It was a very emotional episode. You know, there was a lot of things that to talk about, especially the backstory on Fame's upbringing. That was something that I'm not sure we needed that. I'm not sure we needed it.
I'm not sure we needed it either. Actually, I'm almost 100% sure we didn't need it because it really gave us nothing leading up to ultimately what we thought, you know. But it was traumatic, emotional. I think parts of it was kind of a filler episode because there was so many question marks about what happened.
Yeah. And still are. Still are.
Absolutely.
All right, so we could go ahead and jump into this week's episode. So the episode title is The Nail That Sticks Up. It was written by Brian Walker and Sasha Penn. So we know that when the showrunner is part of the writer's room for the episode, we know that we're going to get a series episode. We're going to get an in-depth episode. Sierra Shooter Glaude is the director. And the episode description is Raq and Marvin navigate a dwindling supply of product while Lou and Imani scout artists together. Joyce's condition worsens and famous mother desperately tries to find him. All right, so let's talk about the nail that sticks up. You know, normally I don't dig too deep into the episode titles, but this season I feel like a lot of the episode titles haven't really met with the theme of the episode. You know, usually the episode title kind of coincides with something that happens in the episode. So I did a little research on the nail that sticks up, and it's a Japanese proverb that means that the nail that sticks up, it's hammered down. It means that people who stand out or challenge the status quo or go against the grain often get targeted, criticized, or suppressed. In other words, if you make yourself too noticeable or too different, you risk being hammered back into place. And I figured out the nail that sticks up is Raq. Raq is the nail that sticks up. And everyone is Raq got a mess right now. Raq got a messy house right now. Like everything in Raq house is in disarray right now. Kanan out of control. He's skimming off the top. You know, she already had issues with Kanan to begin with. Marvin out here doing whatever he wants to do with these Italians. Unique is in the shadows coming after her. Quan. Raq got a lot of problems in her camp right now that some of them she's aware of and a lot of it she's not aware of.
You know what? Now that you think about it, you are 100%, or not that I think about it, you're 100% right. I wasn't even looking at it like that. Like Raq was the nail to stick up. She do got the issues with Quan. She got Neek after her. She got issues in her camp that she don't know about with Marv doing things behind her back. Again, he did something again this episode behind her back. Kanan is doing things behind her back. It makes sense now. So now that you mentioned it and you know you laid out that information of what that title mean, I 100% agree.
She's the nail that sticks up. Dexter, you're right. Fame's backstory reminds me of us when they gave us Dre's backstory. We kind of needed a little bit of Dre's backstory to kind of understand why he moved the way he moved. But with Famous, I still didn't understand what they were trying to show us here, other than the fact that this was probably going to be something very traumatic for his mom to have to deal with. What's up, Xavier? You are absolutely right. I agree. Fame deserved better than this. He did, and we're going to talk about all that. So the episode kicks off with it's a backstory of Famous's upbringing. He's a little kid, him, his sister, and his mom. I wasn't quite sure if this was actually his dad or his mom's boyfriend or something like that. Was smacking him around and beating up on him about some missing money. Mom ends up coming in and smacking him across the back of the head with a frying pan. Jessica, which is Fame's sister, takes him into the room and tells him, she's going out there to try to break up the fight or whatever. And I thought that, okay, this is just going to show that Fame had, a real serious, rough upbringing, and it probably is going to give us some understanding why Fame's situation was the way it was. But Fame, they didn't really show us much of him struggling throughout the different seasons, other than his mom kicking him out because he was lazy as hell. But I wasn't really sure what they were trying to show us here. Eventually the mom gets enough courage up to leave in the middle of the night, and she gets her kids together, and she's got a friend outside waiting for her. Fame talking about he got to run back inside to get a toy. Man, if you don't get your buddy,
you know how kids are, man. They need their favorite Hulk Hogan. I'm gonna say it probably was a Hulk Hogan figurine.
That's what it looked like too. It did look like a Hulk Hogan action figure. Yep, it did. Yeah.
But you know how that is.
And so DeMarcus says that young Jessica looked like Apollonia from Purple Rain.
Whoa. Maybe with the hair, Jessica.
Yeah, with the hair, the big hair.
Apollonia is something different.
Yeah, totally different. Of course, Fame get caught going back into the room with the toy or whatever. The mom comes in, she slices him up real quick, and they retreat to safety. The dude comes out, chases them, threatens them, and they flee into the middle of the night to a shelter. And they get to the shelter, and I guess the reality sets in on them that, especially on the mom, that, I ain't got nothing but y'all. And, Fame was like, "Oh, mommy, don't worry. I'm going to take care of you forever."
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is what they're setting us up for. They're setting us up for the mom having a flashback. And sure enough, the next scene transitions to his mom at the police station. She's talking to Garcia, the detective that had been questioning Fame previously. And we learned that it's been 3 months. It has been 3 months.
I just gotta say something real quick. Can somebody please take Garcia? Please take Garcia.
Take him.
Please. Please take Garcia. I am so tired of Garcia. Please take him. That's it.
That is a very good point, Dexter. That's why I'm trying to figure out what was the message that they was trying to show us, other than, Power always have these viewer discretion messages, about people unaliving themselves and domestic violence and all that. So I guess it was a PSA for domestic violence or whatever.
I think like, well, he didn't do that because he tried to prove that he was from the street, that he was in tune with the streets, that he was tapped in what the streets was doing. And if you listen to the music that is that Lulu is listening to, or Lulu likes, or Lulu is promoting, it's all street things. It ain't really coming from a background of trauma, unless it's something got to do with the streets. Because during that time and during those years, the street music is what was popular. So I think that's why he didn't really get into his upbringing and his own personal trials and tribulations.
That's a very good point, Jack. I really like that point. Garcia is just a piece of work. Olga reminds me of Juliana and her husband Gabriel. Yeah, because Gabriel was smacking Juliana around, so Raq came to her rescue. Yep, sure did. Garcia, a piece of work, yo. Take him for real. Take him. Please. He's unbothered, unconcerned, doesn't care, thinks that Famous is on the run, and he's pretty much telling his mom, Fame's mom, that we don't consider him a missing person. We consider him a fugitive. And she's like, he was already cooperating with y'all. He was telling y'all what y'all want to know, and then he went missing. So obviously he was released from custody. And during that time frame where he was released from custody, he's went missing, presumed missing, but we know we've known all along that he's been unalive. So Garcia, he talking cash shit to her, and she was just like, listen, you told me to wait 2 weeks. I waited 2 weeks. You told me to wait a month. I waited a month. It's been 3 months now and ain't nothing doing. And he was like, well, there's a warrant out for his arrest. So when we find him, and we go find him, he's going to be locked up. And she was like, no, he's not on the run. Something has happened. Yeah, Garcia's days need to be numbered.
Yeah.
Pick him out.
Yeah, he's definitely a piece of work.
Exactly, Xavier. Even if he was a fugitive, y'all still should be looking for him. Y'all should actively be looking for him even more because he's a fugitive.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if he was already cooperating and cooperate in a possible bigger case, I think that would put a little bit more emphasis on the search.
Marvin and Raq are over at her place talking shop, and Marvin is informed Raq that, listen, our supply is down to 0.
She looks great.
Ain't no Raq looks great in every scene.
Great.
Ain't no product been flowing through the restaurant since the attack on the not the Golden Pavilion. Well, the Golden Pavilion, yes, but remember their stash, the warehouse, attack last time. And so David and Terry have not been moving any of the product to the restaurant. So Raq was like, well, you need to press them out and find out what's going on. Why isn't the product been moving? And of course, Marvin lets Raq know that, listen, I've tried to reach out to Terry and David. David is not taking my calls. Raq said, go down here and find out what's going on. She also takes this opportunity to inform Marvin that their attorney got put down. And Marvin's like, man, what? He helped us get out of a lot of jams. And, Raq is starting to realize that there's a lot going on here that she don't know is going on. So it's like everything coming at Raq from all different angles at this point. And I don't
think she realized. The crazy thing is, I know I'm thinking ahead. I want to see so bad how she eventually connected dots. Yeah, I know why. I know why we see that towards the end of the episode, but I just want to see her reaction when she started connecting the dots of this happened because of this happened because of this. It's really one person who knows your foundation who is destroying it to make it crumble.
That's a good point.
Because everything that's happened to her now is really solely from one person.
This little person needs to go away. He's another one that needs to go away. Take him too. Lil Webster. Exactly. Marcus Lil Webster. He needs to go away.
Oh my God. OC is nerve-wracking. I don't know what's the
is OC on this stuff.
Condition. He's nerve-wracking.
Yeah, he's nerve-wracking, all right. Is he on that stuff?
Yeah.
I think he on that stuff talking about hay fever. Ain't no hay fever. Yeah, ain't no hay fever. He on that stuff. So
he probably is.
I think he is.
Yeah.
Kanan and OC are over at the old apartment, and OC's trying to press Kanan out about their funds are looking low. Kanan's been skimming up the top, and OC just like, well, what your mom think about all this? The product ain't moving the way it's supposed to. We running low on product. We don't got hit. You skimming up the top. He's like, I know it ain't none of my business, but what your mom think about all this? And Kanan like, you right. It ain't none of your business. You do what I say and keep doing what I say.
Let me know how he was moving, because you asked way too many questions about nothing that got nothing to do with you.
And Kanan, does none of this ever click in your head? Like, why is he asking all these questions?
Right.
You should have asked him why he asking all these questions.
Like, why you want to know?
Yeah, why you want to know so much?
Yeah.
Yep. So we realized that last week. We had said that when Unique decided to keep him alive, that he was, working for Unique or whatever. And Kanan still hadn't realized that, you trusted this dude with your work, and he the op. Kanan could have just smacked the hell out of him like he did Famous.
I don't understand.
Ass up right there.
I don't understand why he didn't start punking OC the way he did. He did Famous. It's not weird.
Throw his ass around the apartment a couple of times. Like, yo, you don't ask me no more questions about the business.
Yeah, like, stop talking. You talk too much.
But Kanan did pretty much tell him in this scene that you do what I say, or you continue to do what I say, or else.
Don't worry about my mother.
Don't worry about my mother.
Don't worry about my mother.
I got it under control. All right. Yeah. No, Kanan, you're out of control.
All right.
Juke is meeting with Mara, and Mara has informed her that they found her husband unalive in her apartment. The police is saying that they think it was a robbery gone bad. And she had the nerve to ask Juke. She was like, I want to ask you something here, but did you have anything to do with this? Juke like, no, I didn't have anything to do with this. She's like, yeah, but you asked me for the address, and he ended up unalive the same time around when you asked for the address. And Juke, played it off and was like, yo, I asked you for the address in case something happened to you and I had to come and see about you or whatever. These two sure they get chummy real quick, but I guess they really didn't have a choice because the old dude told them that they had to work together to get along.
And so Imani was moving quickly. Like
she was fast. She's a fast car.
Man, she was in the hunt.
She's a fast car.
She liked and she pursued.
She pursued. Exactly. She's a fast car. So Miss Fast Car and Lou or Lou Diddy are out in the club and they're scouting for new artists. And I feel like we got something here with this particular artist right here because he's kind of underground. And she was telling Lou that it's going to be hard to get to this particular artist because his mom's a lawyer. And, she digging into the contract and all that stuff. So I'm thinking to myself, is this going to be the Thomas family new attorney?
Could be. I didn't even think about that.
Might be the Thomas family new attorney. So, they're just kind of out. They're going from scene to scene, place to place. This group right here was dope.
Yeah, this group right here is real dope, man. And I think the collab, this is what I mean when I said the music back then was a little bit different. So you kind of just wanted to just the gangster rap pretty much just took by storm around that time, and this group was real dope, man. And then I recognized one of the familiar faces, which is DNA from the battle rap world. And I was like, is that DNA? Okay, I see 50 Cent is tapping in.
Yep, they were dope. So I said, go ahead and put them in the booth. We need a track.
Oh, yeah, sure.
We need a track. I like them. Yep. Gave me Wu-Tang Clan vibes. Yep.
It did. It did.
Yeah.
It did. I think that's exactly what they was aiming for too.
You think so?
Yeah. Because around that time,
I was thinking the Locks, but I was like, no, not their era, and too many.
Yeah, too many. Locks was probably about 96.
Yeah.
They was probably in that era, but they was dope for sure.
Yeah, they were dope. So she was pretty much telling Lou like, this is what I do. I'm A&R, I'm out here, moving around, trying to find new talent. And of course, Unique is out on his Creek mission, dropping more money off over to Pernessa's place in the mailbox. So I don't quite understand why he hasn't made his presence known to her.
I think it's better that he don't. I think it's best that he don't right now, because if he do, she could say something, and right now he's
moving in shadow still.
Yeah, he's just an afterthought right now, so I think if he say something, the son say something, they can say something to the wrong person, it gets back to who he needs to get back to, but that's what I think, though. I think why he didn't.
Going back to OC, Xavier, that's a good point. OC is betting on the wrong horse. Why are you backing Unique? I guess he was scared when he put that strap in his face.
Yeah, I think he was scared, man. I think he gonna acquiesce to whoever pull the strap out of him. So I think he was scared.
That's why Kanan needed to smack him around a little bit.
Yeah, because he needed to put that fear in him. He ain't really got that fear. I think he's scared of Kanan's girl too, and that's why his nose was acting all crazy.
If we had not seen this week's scene, I would be agreeing with you on that, Xavier. Like, why haven't they shown us with her questioning who dropping this money off for her? But I'm glad we got that answered. That she finally like, okay, what's up with this money showing up all out of place? Marvin sitting here, probably having some, complications with his wound, and he needs his wound dress. Juke comes down and says, you need some help with that? And it was funny how they were going back and forth. I was like, I know she even put no rubbing alcohol on it. Peroxide or some witch hazel or something.
Right.
The green bottle made me think it was rubbing alcohol.
That's what made me think of it too.
Yeah. She ripped the Band-Aid off and, she's nursing his wound, tending to his wound, dressing it back up or whatever. And, she's real nonchalant about all this. She cool. She cool. She moving real cool with all this.
That's the scary part.
Yeah. I even took Marvin for surprise because Marvin was like, okay, Juke, we ain't talked about this. And she's like, talk about what?
Yeah,
ain't nothing to talk about. And basically, Marvin was like, stuff like this can linger up here and, have some problems. And she's like, no, I'm good.
He was like, well, she's kind of happy that she's gone. They think it was a B&E. And yeah, I'm good.
And we did a good thing.
Yep.
So we see Kanan,
Hold on, real before you move further, retros. It was the comment that she made, behind Marvin saying something that made me say, okay, this is definitely the turning point for Juke, because he had said something like, so the army got you comfortable with just doing this, unaliving people. She was like, well, if I'm comfortable with it, it ain't got nothing to do with the army. Whoa.
She did say that, didn't she? So in other words, she's basically saying, I'm comfortable with it because of what we do in the family business. That's what
right. Because this is what we do. So now, moving forward, or it's I've noticed that this is how we take care of business. So I'm okay with it because this is what we do. So that's why I think like that comment was definitely, or at least Marvin saw it as a turning point for sure.
Go ahead and take this one, Jack.
All right, here we see that Kanan is going over to a storage unit where he's been stashing money. The money that OC was actually questioning, this is where he is stashing it. I think this might have something to do with the comment that when he was talking to Snaps and Pop, you ain't got no reserves or anything like that, just in case something like this happens again. I think this really got something to do with it, But again, this is where it makes sense with what Retro was saying about the nail that sticks out, is because here again, this is something that's going on in Raq's life that she knows nothing about. That he's shaving off the top and taking money away from the organization, and it gotta be questioning like, okay, if OC is doing the books for Kanan, who's doing the books for Raq?
I guess Raq do her own books
because he's supposed to report to Raq, right? Like he's getting the work from Raq, so I'm assuming that he's working for Raq because Raq is his supplier.
And the way I take it, not that I know anything about this world, the way I take it is he's getting his supply from Raq, and all he's doing is paying Raq, her price for the product. I don't think that he's splitting profits with her. I think that he's only just giving her costs for the product that he's purchasing from her. But
so okay, I gotta go watch it again because it just made me scratch my head. Because
you're right, because I didn't understand that, because I didn't feel like he was in business with Raq. I just felt like he was getting his product from Raq and he was buying wholesale from Raq.
Like, I know he's in business with Snap and Pop because of everything that happened, but I also felt like this is what I feel like. I feel like if you're getting, like, if the prices is going up, because OC was like, the prices is going up, and we're not giving her everything, or she's not understanding, or she's not getting everything that we should be giving. I think that she expected, I think that he's kind of cutting her profit down, because regardless of anything, that's her son and I. Not know anything about this world. If you're getting if you got a supply, and the supply is XYZ, it costs them XYZ. They're definitely going to charge you a little bit more because they have to make something. You sell it XYZ. So how is he shaving his money when he got to pay Snaps and Pops, and he got to pay whatever it is that Raq is charging? Because Raq is treating him like you getting it from me, not you my son, and we're in this together. She's treating him like you're getting it from me. So that's just the question that I got.
But I think that's exactly how Raq's doing it. Because remember, we said last week that we felt like Raq wasn't really taxing Kanan, and DeMarcus put that in the chat. I agree. I think Raq absorbed the 20% charge, but she didn't pass that cost to Kanan.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I think this is what's affording him to be able to skim off the top, is because he's not giving Raq full price. Raq probably ain't busting upside the head. And going to Xavier's question, I think this is why we're seeing this now. I think that some time has fast forward from last week to this week. when Snap and Pop told him like, you need to keep reserves. You know, they were asking him, you don't keep no reserves. So I think this is what he's doing now. We're seeing him now learn that lesson that, you know, he got to put some money up. And the fact that he's not keeping it at the stash house or his place, he got a storage. He's leveling up. All right, so which one is this? Terry, DeMarcus, Xavier? Who is this? Is this Cup Star? Is this Terry or David?
No, this ain't Terry. Because they said he said he had talked to Terry.
This is David.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this dude is weird.
He is cocaina.
Yeah. Like, well, I understand.
Yo,
your frustration.
Buddy be saucy every scene he in. He be saucy. David. Okay, so DeMarcus said this is David. Look at him. He is lit. He says, how can I help you?
Yeah.
Marvin smacked him up real quick and yoked him up. And like, listen, man, you playing with our money. Our product ain't moving out of this warehouse. Rockman basically told him, like, listen, he was like, Terry is spooked ever since what happened. You know, he spooked. I'll talk to him about it, try to see can we get the product back moving again. Rock said, you better, or you gonna be talking to your mother that's not here anymore, face to face.
You understand me?
That damn Rock ain't got no cold blooded.
Stop messing with the money.
Yeah, you better stop messing with these folk money, man. Listen, I'll get the product out on the truck right away.
Yeah. I'm so sorry.
Exactly, Xavier. That's what happened when you go into business with crackheads. This dude is saucy, yo.
Because he is smacked.
Back. Rock tell Marvin, I mean, she really don't have no other choice, because she really don't got nobody else to do, you know, the heavy lifting but Marvin. But I'm thinking to myself, Rock, you ain't learned your lesson yet by sending Marvin out on these missions. He don't come back with good results. Like, she sent him over there and talk to old dude, and I'm like, we know this is not gonna go well, because just like at the pool hall, we see the same thing happen. Oh boy, well, he kind of earned his deletion though.
He definitely had that one. I mean, we know the results of this conversation, but he kind of earned his too. He definitely kind of earned it, and yeah, she should have never sent Marv. Marv temper get the best. His temper get the best of him, and then just reacts. But in fairness, if you in this type of business and he said the things that he said, he kind of left Marvin no choice. In fairness.
I mean, in hindsight, looking at, there was no other way to resolve the issue. I agree. There was no other way to resolve the issue other than to just
because he shouldn't have said what he said.
Yeah, Rock told him to go over there and like, listen, press him, but don't press him too hard because we still got to work with him after the fact. So whatever you do, you know, he need to be able to walk away because we got to get this work out of him.
Right, like, get the point across.
Bad move. All right, you want to talk this one?
So here you see in that famous mom, because Garcia then dropped a bug in her ear saying that you need to really ask Kanan because it's the friends that's usually the worst enemies. So you see that Famous is here talking with Juke and talking with Kanan about Famous again, like, yo, I need to know where, you know, he is. You're his friend. He would have told you something. I need to know where he is. It's killing her that she don't know. It's hurting her that she don't know where he is versus him just being disappeared. And Kanan just reiterates, yo, I don't know where Famous is. You know, something just not right about this. It's not sitting well with Kanan and Juke either because he left without saying anything. So, and Kanan also let him know, like, it was Garcia that said something to kind of maybe give her a little bit warmth that Garcia is really just trying to jam, you know, trying to pin us against each other because of, you know, Garcia just got it out for Kanan. And then they reiterate again that they don't really know where Famous is at. if they find out where he is, and if somebody had did something too famous, that they had definitely take care of whoever did whatever. Juke reiterated and piggybacked off of what he said, and then we have like a phone call that Kanan had got. A phone call that Kanan had to take, which was on a family emergency. And I'm not sure if the flashback happened before he came and said that he had the family emergency, or after he came back and had the family emergency. But we do see that famous mom has another flashback. And I'm not really sure what the flashback was. I think the flashback is with the dog, if I'm not mistaken. Of where, yes, Raq does look good in the Jaguar print, Xavier. I 100% agree.
But I felt like Famous's mom, because we did forget to talk about that. But yes, Garcia did try to, sick Famous's mom on Kanan, saying, "Oh, you need to look at the Kanan Stark. He got something to do with wherever your missing son is." And she was like, "No, they've been best friends since kindergarten. Like, no, he would never do anything to him." Mm-hmm. And he was like, "Well, sometimes the best friends, that's the first place you need to look, or whatever." Whoop, whoop, whoop. Mm-hmm. So I kind of feel like even the mom herself knew that Garcia moving dirty and ain't right. Thank you, DeMarcus. $2 super chat says, "Who's worse, Joyce or Olga?" Obviously, Joyce. Joyce. Obviously, Miss Joyce. I feel like Famous's mom is good. I mean, Famous's mom, she's not in that life. Joyce know her kids are in their life. She know that the family was in the life. I mean, her husband wasn't moving right.
And she kind of extorted him a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Joyce extorted him a little bit. So.
But I know where DeMarcus is going with that, because Famous's mom turned the strap in. But she thought she was doing something good by getting the strap out of the house. She didn't know that the strap had a body on it. First of all, it's Famous's own fault to begin with, because he should have never brought that home. That strap should have been at the bottom of the lake. Should never. I would have took it back to Palomar's house and gave it back to Palomar. He should have never brought the strap home. So I don't think that Famous's mom is a bad mom. She's a typical 90s mom. How about that?
Yeah, she thought she was doing the right thing, and trying to save her son from doing something he had no business doing. But that cake been baked. He already did it.
Yeah, that cake was baked. Kanan comes back after he gets a call, presumably from the grandmother, letting him know that she's fallen and can't get up. And he tells Miss Famous mom, Figueroa, I think their last name is, that listen, whatever happened to Fame, we're gonna get to the bottom of it. And if somebody's done something to Fame, we're gonna get that too.
Yep.
So, okay, all right. And Juke and them reassure her that, we're going to come back over here and see about you. We're going to find out what happened to Fame, because we try to find out too at this point. So I'm like, oh yeah, I said it last week. We were going to get the answer this episode. And I knew right then in this scene right here, we were going to get the answer. I think during this, we did get another flashback about the dog. Yeah. I still didn't understand what the message that they were trying to show us. What were they trying to show us?
Because he
bringing the dog home. About how naive he is?
Is it because he hit the gun and he hit the dog?
Or is it because of what he did for the dog? He brought the stray dog home and he felt like he needed to protect and take care of the dog. So is this just showing us more of Fame's character? Cub Star, DeMarcus, Xavier, Support Game, I ain't seen you today. Y'all tell me what they are trying to zoom in on with this whole flashback with Famous. I didn't understand the significance of this one with the dog. The only thing that I can come up with is that Famous is just naive and see the good in every situation.
Yeah, I ain't even look at it like that. I just look at it like it's just another flashback, and maybe they're trying to tell us that he hid the dog, and he also hid the pistol. That's what I thought.
And just like she found the dog, she found the pistol.
Mm-hmm.
Still, at this point, do we even care?
Right. Right.
At this point, do we even care?
We don't.
Man, I feel so sorry for his mama because she was going through. Okay, let me see. I just weighed in on this. She said, honestly, I don't know how I feel about all the famous flashbacks were pointless because they didn't show us how Kanan was just a bad friend or how his childhood made him a crackhead. Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is the typical upbringing by anyone on Power. We've seen this with everybody. You know, so this with Famous was no different than what we've seen with Ghost's upbringing, Tommy's upbringing, Kanan's upbringing. I'm like, I don't understand what they're trying to show us here. I think all this is just kind of like how they did with how they tried to wrap stuff up with Ghost, where they actually didn't have the actual actor to participate in any of the scenes. So they had to create narratives around the actor without actually having to use the actor. But to me, this is just wasted. This is just a lazy way to write the character out, the way I look at it.
I agree.
Unique is pulling up at Phil Russo's spot, so he's the new crime boss. He's Sal Boselli's replacement, the New Jersey mob boss. And you know, Unique coming there with this cockiness about himself. And Phil told him, like, what you doing here? Like, you're alive, but you could possibly not be alive much longer if you don't get up out of here, you mooly.
Like, don't you know Sal tried to get you
right
taken care of? Like, he tried to get you situated too.
Yeah.
So, like, I should go ahead and finish out the situation. But he said, out of respect, you know, for Sal's wife, that he's not going to get him situated. But he did come in there with a cocky bravado, you know, just letting him know, like, okay, the Raq was behind getting Sal taken care of. Raq was behind getting my brother taken care of, you know, and now I'm here for vengeance. I need backing, you know, from your family as I get ready to take out her whole organization. And Phil was like, bro, I owe you nothing. Like, I'm not even sure what you're doing. Like, I'm not even sure why you're here and why you even think that you even have a platform to even have this conversation, especially with Sal didn't Sal didn't care for you that much, you know. And Unique is just pretty much just saying, like, I need a team behind me. Nah, Phil ain't buying it. He said, no, you need to change over your sport. You made the MVP. You think you know this game? It's time to change sports, bro. You come up with a team, you come up with a plan, and then maybe we can revisit this conversation. But as of right now, get out of here.
Before you get situated, you so stupid
right.
with the situation. You have to be like,
why are you coming in here so cocky? Like, they won't tighten you up. That's the thing. Like, dude, you coming in here for their help, and you get to push it and shove it, and you asking him, you coming to him, man, what you know about what's going on the South Side Jamaica, Queens? Like, you don't know nothing. Like,
but you know what I also liked about this scene too? Phil put Unique on notice. He was like, I ain't heard nothing about that colored woman trying to do anything to you.
Yeah.
He was like, because you remember he said, yeah, she got my brother situated, took over my business and all this stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, Ronnie wasn't moving right even before he attacked you.
Right.
Like, how are you not putting two and two together? I think that comment right there is eventually going to help put him into perspective that maybe Raq is innocent.
Mm-hmm.
I agree, Cubstar. I felt the same way when I watched this scene. I said, this scene right here is going to probably play back in Unique's fractured mind at some point. But they keep leading us to believe that all this is not working up here right for Unique, but yet he remembers everything like it was yesterday. He knows where everybody at. Like, I don't think they're doing a good job with showing us a different version of him. I feel like we're just seeing the same version of Unique, but just bent for revenge.
I was thinking that too.
The wrong person.
What happened to the head hitting?
Yeah.
What happened to the German Shepherd? Like, what happened to that?
Yeah, I don't like the way that they're writing this. They should have shown Unique with a totally different personality. They should have even shown him with some bouts of amnesia, you know, not really remembering, and then it would be easier for us to understand why he's so hard on with Raq. But he's just got revenge. He's out on a quest for revenge against the wrong person.
Seeking vengeance.
Yeah.
So I agree with that for sure.
Do you think he makes it out this season? It's kind of stupid for them to take him out, but I don't know if I can keep.
I think he makes it out because why even bring him back then? You could just left him where he was at.
Yeah, you could have left him where he was at, but I don't like this. This needs to change.
Yeah, I don't like this either. I agree.
Phil told him to get on up out of here before you get situated too.
Yeah.
He gets in the car, he beats the hell out of the steering wheel because, yeah, bro, you didn't handle that the right way. You should have went in there with a little bit more finesse. You know, you should have went in there asking questions. Really, you should have went in there and asked for some work. That's what you really should have went in there for. That's what you really should have went in there for.
But do you think prior to this, prior to this, definitely is because the vengeance is pretty much took over his every move. He definitely would have went in there with a little bit of finesse. Unique always had finesse when it came down to handling these conversations. Even when it came down to $120 and they met up in the park, with Raq, he still was able to handle it with some type of finesse. This Unique is just out for vengeance and going to get himself hurt.
So Dexter, you do make a good point. Unique has been on the losing end. It is time for him to get a win, but I feel like him and Raq have been up and down because Raq's taking some losses too. But they've always shown us that Raq has played the game differently. She covers angles that Unique don't think of. So I feel like both of them have kind of taken losses. She's taking a loss right now.
Sure.
But it is time for him to get a win, but I don't think his win is going to last long. Just like in the past, his wins have never lasted long because he's on the wrong trail. And right now, he's on the wrong trail. And so going against Raq, eventually she's going to find out a way to outsmart him like she always does. I mean, it's the protagonist-antagonist theme that we get throughout the Power universe. It's the up and down. All right, so Mama Joyce don't fail. I don't know why they don't got an at-home nurse for Mama Joyce already. Shout out to Kanan with the hair sevens on. He inspired me to put mine on today, the hair sevens. Released in 1992. We see Joyce is falling, and Juke and Kanan are over to the house to try to help her up. And Juke goes to try to call, an ambulance to come in, take her to the hospital. Mama Joyce, look at this girl. You don't put that phone down. I ain't paying for no ambulance. You must gonna pay for it. I ain't going. Juke's like, nah, ma, you need to go see about yourself. You could have some internal injuries or whatever. And she made a good point about that. Ain't doing nothing but making a bill for me. Yep. I felt like, she probably said, well, if y'all call the ambulance, y'all can pay for it. Particularly.
I was back in the day. I ain't going to no hospital. There's nothing but a high bill.
Right. I feel like somebody should be over there with Mama Joyce. She don't need to be in that house by herself.
Mama Joyce got some issues.
She do got some issues. But I really thought that we were going to get more out of this scene. I really expected more out of this scene. I really expected her to have a conversation, particularly with Kanan. But in the presence of Juke, I really wanted her to kind of like tell Kanan that he need to make peace with his mama, before it's too late. I was expecting a type of comment like that led Kanan to realize that, him and his mom need to sit down, but that ain't going. Lou Diddy is back at the studio. Lou Didio is back at the studio.
Don't call that Diddy.
With the fast car. And she's continuing to flirt with him. And I'm like, okay, at this point, Lou, you got to know that she's flirting with you, right? You got to know that she's flirting with you.
I think he already kind of knew that, man. I think he was just trying to resist. I think he was trying to resist a little bit, and to the point where he had him cornered. Like she literally had Lou cornered. Like, nah, you're gonna get this work. You're gonna get this work.
All right, so y'all got some serious comments in the chat about Joyce. I'm gonna go back to that for a second. Okay, you're right, Xavier. Raq was upset with her mother because she felt like her mother was giving up. But I also don't think that Raq has sat still long enough to understand that Mama Joyce has tried everything she can to, fight this, and it's terminal at this point. There's nothing more that she can do. But I feel like they should have had that conversation. She should have explained to Raq, that I have been trying. We had a point, but Raq ran. We talked about that last week. Raq ran before they could really get into any substance. So what's going to happen, just like in this episode, that lady going to end up passing on before Raq and her make peace. And we're going to have to see Raq deal with that.
Yep.
She invite Lou to come back to her place for a drink. And Lou's like, sobriety, rehab, just got out, not drinking alcohol. Did you forget that part? And she was like, yeah, well, you could just come listen to my
record collection.
Yeah, come look at my record collection. Lou's like, word? All right, what's up?
It did some spinning, all right, on the records.
Exactly.
It did some cutting and spinning.
He get a 911 page, hit me on my pager. And he's like, we'll get back together. He meets at the hospital with Kanan and Juke, and he pretty much responds kind of like Raq would, but not as cold-hearted as Raq. But he was like, what you called me for? And he was like, okay, look, I'm just gonna go show my face so I can say I've been here, but y'all dealing with this. I ain't got time. And so the doctor comes in and pretty much
it's trigger.
Yeah.
That woman trigger.
She's a trigger for him. Yep.
Yeah.
She's a trigger. The doctor had already updated Kanan and Juke about her status and pretty much told them that, listen, she's in palliative care at this point, or needs to be in palliative care at this point. That basically y'all need to have some kind of in-house nurse or, hospice type care for her. She doesn't need to be alone. And Lou looking at her like, I ain't finna pay for that. Like, damn, ain't nobody got it for Mama Joyce. Damn, ain't none of her kids. Marvin was the only one that was trying to tend to her this episode. Cub star, your emoji is too funny. I'm not even. Because that's exactly what Imani was up to. Trying to pull a little sneaky link. Yeah, you gonna come listen to these records, all right, while I. So Raq is meeting with Quan, and Quan's like, you think I wouldn't notice? And she's like, notice what? He's like, you short on your payment. She's like, no, I ain't short. He was like, but we agreed to. She's like, I didn't agree to shit. He's like, I'm not giving you the 20%. They have this banter back and forth, and I'm just like, at this point, Raq was like, yo, Quan, what's up with you though? Why you have it out for me so bad? And everything that I said at the beginning of the episode is exactly what Quan don't see it for her for. He's like, you sloppy. The way you do business sloppy. Everybody you do work with is falling down all around you. You taking too long to clean up your mess. He's like, basically, I don't want to work with you no more. You're fired. He told him. And then he brought up Unique. He brought up Unique that, Unique was not as creative as you with getting his work out. But one thing I liked about Unique was, his level of professionalism versus yours. Raq makes too many waves out here for Quan.
Way too many.
And I felt like Raq wanted to tell him, well, F you, I'm already looking for a new supplier anyway, so their business is done. She hauled tail over to the Afghan, Haifiz is his name, who's a high-powered, clean-cut Afghan importer who appreciates a luxurious lifestyle almost as much as he appreciates discretion. And I have to ask myself, do you think we're going to get some kind of love connection between the two of them? I hope not. I don't want it.
No, but absolutely not.
I feel like he kind of like Raq, though.
I think he kind of like Raq, but Raq is not feeling this. No way.
Exactly, Dexter. I agree with you. Quan is a little two-sided, two-faced. Because, yeah, he was grumbling, complaining that Unique wasn't bringing in no money. Raq could bring in the money, but I guess Quan's ultimate issue with Raq is he don't want to work with a woman. That's what that is.
She bringing a lot of other stuff with the money, but it comes a part of the game. Unique wasn't bringing in the
he wasn't bringing in the numbers.
Right, but Raq is bringing in a lot of unalive, and it's because oddly enough, it's because of Unique. So that's why it's crazy. It's because of Unique. It's all because of Unique right now. So the person you said that was like, okay, he handled his business, this way, maybe he doesn't bring in the money. Is the reason why I think that's part of the reason why you don't want to work with Raq is because all the waves is being created against the organization because Unique is creating the waves.
Raq is desperate at this point. She's damn near down to her last few bricks, and she's trying to get this pipeline opened up with High Fizz. And he was like, listen, I told you last time you was over here, I'll reach out to you. You don't reach out to me. And he lets her know that, listen, I need a parlay with you and your team, and I need to understand how my product is going to move through your network. Raq was like, I'm that network. And she reassures him that, she's going to have a clean distribution of the product, that they're not going to have any problems. I'm thinking to myself, Raq, but that's what Quan just got finished telling you now, is that your stuff is sloppy and you got too many bodies falling down around you. This man ain't going to sit still for that either.
Right.
So Raq is desperate at this point to try to get her pipeline back. We see Marvin over at the hospital trying to see about his mama. And, they have a nice conversation, and I thought we were going to get some discussions about their issues. Each one of the kids have their own individual issues with the mama. We know what Lou's is. It was the music and the dad. We know Raq. We still not clear what Raq's issue was with her, other than the fact that her mama wasn't around. But with Marvin, I would have thought that they would have had a more serious conversation, because Marvin was the one that took care of Lou and Raq, and he had to go off to jail. He was out here selling work, so I really expected them to resolve their issue, and they kind of danced around it, but they never really got into any substance of the conversation. In this conversation, she tells Marvin that she's tired, and she's tired of this. And I can understand that. A lot of times when we see our loved ones transitioning, for our own selfish reasons, we want them to stay here, but we don't think about the suffering that they go through when they have a terminal illness that's literally eating them from the inside out. Like, there's nothing that's bringing her relief at this point. So
a lot of pain.
So you giving her water, adjusting her pillow, none of this is making her easier to die. So she pretty much tells Marvin, look, end this for me. You my oldest son. I'm your mother. We supposed to take care of each other. I need you to end this for me. Marvin looking at her like, how you want me to do that? And she was like, I got this medicine off of one of the nurses. All you need to do is give me a hot shot and it's over. And Marvin's like, let me go get this water.
Yeah.
And I was like, don't do it, Marvin. Don't do it. I was like, here go another bad decision. But
he got to play.
He did good. This little person right here. Oh my God, this little person.
Please take OC.
Take him.
Power guys, please take OC.
And he get in the car, he asked Unique for a napkin. He said, use your sleeve. Talk about this hay fever. Ain't nothing wrong with no hay fever. You dipping in your product is what it is. Yeah. He's shaking down OC for some information about Kanan's network and how things are going. And OC, this is where we learned that OC is pretty much an informant for Unique, telling Unique about the dissension between Raq and Kanan and how Kanan is stepping on the work and skimming off the top and all that stuff. And Unique like, okay, that's all you got? Get out. And it reminded me so much of how Kanan did Dre when he had Dre infiltrating Ghost organization. Oh, that reminded me so much of that. And I'm like, okay, who's going to end OC? Is it going to be Kanan or is it going to be Unique at this point? But I don't feel like OC is going to be with us much longer. He's not useful. Raq pull up to her house and Pernessa's outside waiting for her in a brand new Cadillac, it looked like. Pernessa got her a brand new car. And she asked Raq.
She was getting that bag.
She asked Raq, she was like, yo, Raq, what's up with this money? He's like, is this your way of trying to take care of me and Jerome because you took out Nick? And I felt like they resolved this already. Why are we spinning the block back on this? Because remember when she showed up to Raq's house with the strap and her and Raq tussled for the gun, Raq pinned to her, and
it was like, you gotta be able to go all the way if you will come here with that.
Yeah, Rock told her last time that it was Ronnie. And then after Ronnie came and robbed her and yoked her up, I felt like Pernessa should have realized that Rock was right, that it wasn't her that did anything to Unique. It was Ronnie.
You still have to scratch your head with this money keep coming up, right? So why does this money keep coming up? And if Unique is gone, who else is dropping the money off? Like, you have to. I'm not mad at Pernessa for thinking like, are you trying to get so you can sleep better at night because you actually did do this? She knows that the game comes with lies and things like that. Because you probably ultimately don't believe Rock, because the money kept showing up. So I get where Pernessa coming from.
And you know what? That's a very good point. That Rock should be a little bit suspicious with this money showing up from Unique. Showing up to Pernessa, that should make her question about all this weirdness that's going on and all this stuff. That should have been included her. I agree with that.
If you remember what I said earlier, I said I'm interested in seeing how Rock connect the dots, at some point to let
this should be a clue.
This is like, I think this is the biggest clue. Is like where this money is coming from. Like maybe, just maybe, the body was never discovered. What if, she probably be like, nah, but the body was never discovered. Just maybe.
The irony of it is Rock's money. It's just not Rock giving it to her.
It is Rock's money.
It is Rock's money, but Rock didn't give it to him. Rock, I was like, go ahead and get your money back, Rock, because technically it is yours. Oh my goodness. So Marvin come over here and see Mr. Ching Chong, and I just knew right here because his mouth was slick the first time they had dealings. And I'm like, this dude was talking cash. I should go to the police and tell them everything.
He does it again. And this is why I say it kind of justifies what Marv did. The moment he said, I should go to the
police, you should have been in his mouth.
You were done. The moment you mentioned that you were about to get it and run your mouth. Anybody that's involved in anything that is illegal, the moment that somebody says, I'm going to go to the police, the moment they think that you should go to the police, forget about it.
I wanted Marvin to smack him around a little bit. I ain't going to front. I wanted Marvin to smack him up a little bit. Hey, that's a very good point, though, that y'all are saying about Rock has too many. Dexter says Rock has too many distractions right now. She can't focus right now. That's a good point. She can't focus on one thing because she's getting hit in all different directions. So, yeah, she can't focus on one thing right now. Yeah, right now her biggest focus is trying to get that work back moving. So, I mean, we kind of already talked about this scene right here. We knew what was going to happen. And Marvin ends up deleting his problem, and I'm just like, how is this going to have effect on the network? Because that cocaina over there, he too saucy, he too smacked. That's why he was the brains of the outfit, and the other one he was just getting high off of, the product. I don't think that this is going to go well for them because they've taken out the brains of the operation now. Unless they're going to fully take over this operation, I don't see how this is going to help them get their product out and moving. After these two don't lay it up, and I feel like
listening to music, and she checked out the record collection.
She started asking Lou more questions. Somebody said last week, might have been DeMarcus. Somebody said last week, do we think that she's an informant? I just don't understand why she would need to be. Like Lou, out of all the Thomas family, I mean, Lou got a body or two on him or whatever, but Lou's not really involved in the family business as much as Marvin and Rock is. Mm-hmm. Like, so even if she was informing on them, I mean, she ain't getting nothing out of Lou. But she asked him about Jessica, and Lou was like, oh, you done your homework on me. So it did kind of make me feel like, could she be informing? But like, what are we expecting this character to discover? I mean,
I don't think she's an informant. I think she's in the music world. I think Jessica's in the music world. So at some point, they worlds both collided, and they know about Lou. Lou's name has been ringing in the music world. So of course, if all three of them is in the music world, you know how the music industry go. I heard that you was dating Jessica, who's also in the music industry. Is that still going on? And I think
what's up, Courtland? Hey, so I was gonna get to that and trailer for next week. But I think when we see that scene of Raq crying in the trailer, I think it's for the mom.
Yeah, I think it's
mom. Hey, she needs to get away from Lou. All of his partners end up on alive. Yeah,
Jessica's still alive.
Yeah, Jessica's still alive, just barely. But this, oh my God, I've seen so many videos, content creators, and so many posts on Reddit and everywhere. This is young Ghost, y'all. It's either Ghost or Breeze. I've been reading that all week. That this little character right here is Ghost. It's a plot device, guys. This little guy right here, this little guy was sent into the gas station to steal for us to find Famous's body. That's all
it was.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's all he is.
That's all.
He's not Ghost. He's not Breeze. He's
Also,
not anybody that we
crazy.
know from OG Power.
Listen, we're not going to see Breeze. Oh my God. I'm Breeze.
I'm Breeze.
Yeah.
You're Ghost. You're Ghost. And I'm Breeze. Listen, what was interesting though, he stole a 40. Like, the little boy too young to be drinking 40.
Hey, when you was younger.
You see what all the old heads doing, so I'm gonna go see what this is about too. The store owner chases the little fella out. So the little boy comes in, he steals a 40, and he runs out of the convenience store, the bodega, and a store owner chases him into like a bando. a bando. This is like a spot where, you know, crackheads, probably homeless crackheads probably hang out at and get high, where they'll take refuge. And he just conveniently walks up on a mattress with a hand sticking from up under it. We knew right then and there. We knew right then and there. These were the remains of said person that we've said has been gone since episode 1. Episode 1.
It kind of broke my heart though, man. I ain't even gonna lie. Like, just seeing this, I mean, it ain't confirmed, but it kind of broke my heart a little bit.
I agree with that, Dexter. The show needs to hold off showing Ghost and Tommy as long as possible. When they do show up, it will overshadow everything else. Exactly. That is the point right there, Dexter. Exactly. That's why we not gonna get no Breeze. That's why we not gonna get no Ghost or Tommy, because if you introduce them to the story instantly becomes about them and no longer about Kanan. And I feel like the way we're going to get them introduced to the story is season 5 towards the end, the end season of 5.
Yeah, the series.
Where it can transition into Power Origins.
Mm-hmm.
We still got a lot. We got to wrap up the Thomas family. You're right. That would be too many characters to bring into the story. 3 new characters right there that are going to take over the show. You still got to get rid of all the Thomas family and Raq and Unique and all of that. When we start seeing those characters come into the show, it's transitioning out the old characters for new. So I agree with you on that, Dexter. That was a very good point. Damn, why you had to do Famous like that? And old punk ass Garcia up here at the morgue telling her that, listen, his remains are very decomposed. We're waiting on dental records to come back. We found the ID on him, and that gives people hope right there because, you know, he's not positively identified as Famous. It's Famous, y'all. It's Famous.
Yeah, it's Famous.
And the mother's reaction told you that it was Famous. Man, that took my heart though when I saw that lady like that, man. I was like, oh my God, yo, she lost her only son. And on some, my question is, we keep having all these flashbacks. We had another flashback when she was on the bus coming home. She had the flashback about when she let Famous back into the house, when she had put him out. And this is where he actually brought the weapon back with him. I'm thinking that she's probably living in regret that I should never turn this weapon in. Maybe this wouldn't happen. So she probably thinks that because of that, this is why he's unalive. I don't think that it's Freddy's crew that came back and got him. For some reason, I still feel like it's Marvin.
I think it's Marvin. I feel like it's Marvin. I feel like
it's Marvin until you show me that it's not.
I feel like we may see. I feel like Mrs. Famous, Miss Famous, Mama Famous. I feel like her days is going to be number 2, unfortunately, because this is a lot of heartbreak.
I think
But
she gonna delete herself.
yeah, that's what unfortunately that's what I feel. And I feel
Maybe
like
what these flashbacks are setting us up for.
because of the flashbacks, especially this last flashback, I was like, oh man, she she go get herself, she go situate herself. But I absolutely 100% agree with you. I think it's Marvin. I think he knew. I think Famous knew too much. I think Famous had a lot on Kanan. I think
He's a threat.
I think if whatever he is that he had on Kanan, he could have possibly brought down the whole Thomas family. So you
Well, you
know,
gotta think about it. If he's talking to get up from up under a charge,
yeah,
he can be like, I know they all I hear sell work.
right.
Yeah,
absolutely. What do you
although I
need?
don't think he would
You
have
need to
done
get
that.
away from under this charge. What do you need? I can give you whatever information that you need, and I think that you take that into consideration. And Thomas family way too much.
But even saying that, what does Famous really know? What does he really know other than Kanan was selling a little weed?
Kanan was getting his work from Raq.
Not at that time he wasn't, because remember at that time he was working with Ronnie.
But Raq, he knows Raq sell work. He know about $120.
Maybe I feel like he would have informed more on the Howard situation than on the Thomas.
He know about Howard too. He know about, what I'm saying is he know about Howard. He know about Raq. He know about $120. He might not know the in and out of Raq organization, but he know that she sells work, and he can identify that she sells work, and he definitely know about $120.
Yeah, what pulls my teeth, and that's exactly what's been pulling our teeth with this. We don't understand the purpose of the flashbacks. The only thing that I can come up with is it's a way for them to show us the character without having to show us new scenes of the character. Mm-hmm. Whatever is going on with the actor. Now, there's a lot of talk out on the net about it being he has legal troubles. We've done deep dive and can't find his name mentioned in any kind of case in New York City. He's obviously out, so he's not like he's locked up or incarcerated. Then there's a lot of talk that he had a drug and alcohol problem. So typically when the network parts ways with a character on the show that is he's got NDAs, so he can't talk about whatever, just like with Ghost couldn't talk about, but they're doing him just like how they did Ghost. All this weirdness, we have flashback scenes talking about the character, but we never see the character. We have voiceovers where someone else is reading for the character. It just doesn't make sense. I don't know what they're trying to show us here other than Famous's mom feels guilty about it, because what would have made it even more beneficial to us if they would have shown Kanan having a flashback of how he treated Famous the last few interactions they had. Remember when he beat him up and yoked him up and put him out the apartment? They should have shown Kanan having a flashback too. Then I would say, okay, it's guilt that they're feeling, that the mama and Kanan were both feeling guilty about how they treated Famous. But I don't think that's that. I think it's just their way of showing the character without the character being available to shoot new scenes. So they have to revert back to showing old scenes. And it was easier to show the flashbacks of the younger Famous because that's a whole nother character without having to rely on the real character. Because keep in mind, the mama and Jessica were themselves in those scenes, but the little boy obviously wasn't. So I feel like that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make this seem like we got the character, but we really don't have the real character. Marvin goes by the house to check on his mama, and she pretty much tell him, do what I asked you to do earlier. Let's get it done. I'm at home. I'm in peace. This is where I want to go. And Marvin told her, I can't do it, Ma. I can't do it. And she just instantly turned into the Mama Joyce that we know. She said, sorry, Marvin. Marvin, sorry.
Yep.
Sorry ass Marvin. Marvin, sorry. And I was like, okay, don't do that, Mama Joyce, because usually when you pick at him,
you think she was trying to entice him? Like she knew
push? Yeah, she was pushing him. The one time that Marvin used good judgment. The one time. And I felt like, you left the needle in the syringe and the vial there. She could have did it herself. She did it for herself. Which I thought that's what they were going to show us that she did when he left the room. because he didn't take it with her. He just put it back down on the table. So I was like, okay, she's gonna raise up and do it herself, and then Marvin's gonna come in and
Should do a cup of water on her face.
Yeah. Marvin couldn't do it though, but I mean, I understand why he didn't do it. I mean, it's his mama. You know, at the end of the day, you know, this ain't nobody in the streets. This is my mama. I can't do that. Right. So Quan is coming out of his spot. Unique makes his big reveal. Quan acts like he's happy to see Unique. So you know they're going to be back working together again to take down Raq. But I felt like I didn't expect this because I really expected Raq to take out Quan. Why hasn't she?
I don't feel as though I feel as though she is. I think they had to have a conversation. That conversation had to happen in order for her to get be like, all right, yeah, he's done. I think the conversation went a different way. She had to get the conversation out in order because now she's fired. So now she has no reason to keep him around. There's no reason to run stay around. He's done. His days is numbered.
He's done. Hey Dexter, that's a good question. Y'all got some good questions about Mama Joyce. Do you think Kanan have the guts to do it? No, but Juke probably would have.
Yeah, probably.
And Dexter says Quan was eating the orange. It usually foreshadows death. Okay. Cortland says, I wonder if Raq and Lou would have did it if Joyce told him to. Lou definitely not.
Lou, no.
Lou definitely not.
Raq, I don't think Raq would have either. Raq would have been like, nah, that's too easy. You're gonna
because Raq was already having a fit with her about giving up.
Yeah. So, nah, that's too easy for you.
Juke may have done it. So yeah, we know that these two are going to be working back together, but the minute Raq realizes that Quan is supplying Unique his horse, she's going to probably take out Quan, just like she did with Juliana, just to cut Unique's pipeline off. But I think Unique is going to end up working with those mafiosos up there in Jersey. Especially now that he's got Quan backing him. Now he's got something to go back to mafioso with and tell him like, yo, look, you know, I got the backing that you said I needed. So we see Kanan get the call right here. Kanan gets the call about Famous, and he goes and picks up the tape. This right here should have been the flashback. Kanan should have had a flashback here of him smacking Famous around in an apartment and putting him out. And we see Kanan break down. I think this is the first time we've ever seen Kanan show any real emotion. Because he didn't even act like that with D. Wears.
And even the narration of Kanan was kind of
heavy. It was heavy.
Yeah, it was. It was like, what y'all want me to do? You know, like I'm hurt. You know, leave me alone.
Yep. And he was like my best friend. And that right there gave us the confirmation that we've been saying from day one when we first met the character. That's why Kanan named his son after Famous. I feel like that right there, the narration, Kanan's reaction right here gave us the confirmation for a future story that this is why he named his son Sean. And Kanan definitely is riddled with guilt right now, and the fact that he wasn't there for his friend. So somebody said that they think Kanan did it. I don't think Kanan did it. This reaction right here proves
Kanan did not
do it. Yep.
Kanan wouldn't have did it. He would have did it earlier. Kanan wouldn't have did it. He didn't do it.
Could it have been Ronnie? I feel like if it was Ronnie, they would have showed us that already, though.
Why Ronnie, though?
Because you remember when Famous came back over to the apartment to try to reach out to Kanan, and Ronnie put him out?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just felt like Ronnie would have eliminated Famous because he knew that Famous was a weakness for Kanan or liability. Getting rid of, because remember, he wanted to get rid of Juke. He wanted to get rid of Raq. So I feel like if that could be an angle, I think that they're making it too obvious for us to figure out who it is. So I'm just trying to figure out, is there someone else that could have done it? To me, it doesn't make sense for it to be Freddie's crew that came back on him. If that's the case, it's lazy writing. Like Freddie's crew was nothing. You know, so that would have been impactful for us to know it. Whoever took Famous out is going to impact the story.
It's Marvin.
Other characters. That's why I keep feeling like
I think they're gonna mention it at some point. because they're not going to show the character or not going to actually show the scene of what happened, because that means they have to bring Famous the character back.
And if Famous was talking, he would have more to tell on Ronnie than he would on Raq, because that was the threat at the time. You know, Ronnie was the reason why he couldn't come around to the apartment. So I would feel like it would be much easier for Famous to roll over on Ronnie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Ronnie don't like snitching either. Let's just be clear. I don't think that it was Ronnie. I'm just putting it out there in the what if world of the Power universe. You know, we have a lot of what ifs in the Power universe. It was Ghost that did it. It was Breeze. Yeah.
It was Breeze. That's what did it. It was Breeze.
It was Breeze. Breeze did it.
Breeze did it.
I don't know.
Maybe that wasn't Famous. Maybe that was Breeze.
I don't know what that trailer. I thought I had a cue, but I don't. That trailer that they showed with the silencer and the curly head person, it looks like Marvin's silhouette. It looks like Famous silhouette. So we're gonna get the fact that they keep showing us these flashbacks. I feel like whatever happened to Famous, we're going to see that in a flashback with look-alike.
So now my next question is, and this is just going a little bit further into detail, if in fact we do find out it was Marv, do you think Kanan finds out?
Or does Juke find out and she has to keep it a secret from Kanan?
Or does Juke find out? Exactly. You think one of them find out? I mean, he found out who put D-Wiz down. You think he finds out about Famous?
Well, the only reason why he found out who put D-Wiz down was because Lou told him. Lou told him in one of his drunken stupors that Raq made him do it.
Yeah, right.
This is going to be a little bit more personal, though. So we got next week's episode, previews for next week's episode. We see Kanan out here. Kanan going to be on some demon time. He going to be out here trying to figure out what's going on with Famous. I think this is the family getting together probably down at Shirley's, and they're probably memorializing Famous, you know, having a memorial for him.
That better be Waterloo drinking.
It looks like a glass of water. $2 from DeMarcus says Jessica will blame Lou for the death of Famous. That's a good point. Well, that's an interesting thought. Why do you think that, DeMarcus? Why do you think Jessica will blame Lou? Lou was in rehab. Because matter of fact, Lou wasn't even around when the song got put out. He was in rehab. Because remember, they were trying to meet up with him. They were trying to meet up with him to find out who made the song. And Famous was running interference for Lou.
I don't think that's gonna happen, Xavier. With Juke and Kanan, I don't think that's gonna happen. I mean, it would be interesting, but I don't think that's gonna happen. And
I feel like they would have addressed that in OG Power too, because remember, Kanan called on Juke and OG Power to see about him when Ghost mucked them up. But yeah, I do think that the Thomas family is going to get together and have a memorial in honor of Famous. And it's interesting that Marvin is there. Lou's probably going to question Raq about this and say, did you have anything to do with this? Because of the D-Wiz situation. Because of what she asked him to do with D-Wiz, Lou's probably going to automatically be suspicious of Raq for this. But I don't think Raq has anything to do with this. So we're probably seeing here Lou questioning Raq, asking her, yo, did you have something to do with putting down Famous? And Rock's like, fuck you talking about? No, I ain't did this. But I really think that all eyes are going to point towards Raq in some respect. Because Raq is guilty of everything. Kanan out here with the strap. He probably finna roll up on Freddie's crew. Or what's left of Freddie's crew, thinking that they were the ones that put Famous down. That's why I'm saying it's not them. That's the obvious, okay, yeah, they must have did it. Kanan and Juke are probably going to eliminate all of them, but they're still not the ones. Yeah, they're not. They're going to situate the wrong people. Yeah. They didn't put Famous down. Yeah, Lulu produced the song "What's the 411," but remember it was Shirley that gave it to the record exec. Lou didn't meet him until he got out of the rehab, because he was trying to situate himself. So yeah, I think Juke and Kanan gonna be out here on Demon Time. Now, do you think Kanan's storage got hit? What do you think is going on here? Because
I
he's
think
back
his
at the
story may
store.
have got hit because OC maybe found out where it was at and said something, and I think it's a possibility.
The look on his face, he looks like he's shot. Like, damn, I don't got hit here too.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
this may have something to do with OC. I thought the same thing.
May have something to do with OC. You think maybe his girl that said something, like Kanan's girl that said something, the Crystal that said something to OC,
or she don't got the money and ran.
Or that could be a possibility too. But I don't see why Crystal. See, but Crystal was kind of giving.
What
Kanan
episode is this? This is episode 6, right?
Yep.
Let me look at the.
Did we get a break?
We get 2 more episodes before we get the break. Okay, so we get 406 and 407. We don't get the break until April the 25th. So we don't get after April the 18th episode, we get a break, and then we get our next episode May the 2nd. But next week's episode 406 is titled The Price of Fame. Raq tries to overcome Marvin's poor judgment, which is him getting rid of Ching Chong. Kanan recruits Jukebox to help him get justice for his friend. Unique assembles the final pieces of his plan. Okay.
Like the title.
We could be on to something about OC robbing Kanan, because in episode 407, the episode description for episode 407, OC goes missing in that episode. So I'm wondering, do he rob Kanan?
OC ran his mouth, or somebody ran his mouth and got the information to OC. OC did something or said something to the wrong person, and now OC could be possibly on the run because he knows Kanan is looking for him, or he knows that, or he said something to OC about the stash, and the only person that he told it to was OC, and now Unique then hit the stash, and OC could be on the run, or he can ultimately be his demise because he's running his mouth.
So you're right. Crystal does go missing, but she doesn't go missing until episode 409. In episode 409, she goes missing.
So it could be Crystal and OC that it said something. Ooh, if I'm right. Ooh.
Even the next 3 episodes are still focused on Famous. Even in episode 408, we get to the end of the season. Raq goes on the offense as Marvin and Lou attempt to contain escalating situation. Jukebox joins the search for OC. So OC stays missing because even in episode 408, they're still looking for him. While Kanan looks into his theory on what happened to Famous. So I think in episode 408, Kanan's going to figure out what happened to Famous, and we're going to probably get the answer in 408. And oddly enough, the character that we're talking about that we feel like is responsible for it is no longer mentioned in any of the remaining episodes for the season.
Whoa. You're telling me.
You heard what I said. You heard exactly what I said. And then the crazy part about it is episode 409, Kanan is suspicious of Raq's involvement. Investigates Crystal's disappearance. Raq faces fallout from Unique's retaliation and Marvin's mistake. Jukebox revisits her past, and Lou embraces his new path. Episode 410's episode title and description is very... I think OC gonna rob Kanan next week. So we'll see what CJ's prediction video is gonna be for tomorrow. This is interesting because this is Raq's new connect and Stefano meeting together. So is this meaning that Stefano is either going to give him the blessing to supply Raq with her horse, or he's going to tell Hafiz that not to supply Raq with her work. This is an interesting meeting of the minds right here. Stefano he's pulling the strings, but I'm wondering if he's pulling them in Raq's favor or in his own favor. So it's interesting to see what this conversation is going to be like with them.
Let me ask you something. With those descriptions you got in there, did anything say anything about early Tyler? Because now I'm starting the theory, and my theory was always that Stefano was going to have to respond to something that Marvin had done previously. He's going to have to respond to it because early Tyler is not taking care of his end of the deal.
That could be what they're alluding to. That could be what they're alluding to in episode 409. Something big is going to happen in 409, y'all. We almost probably need to have a watch party for 409. 409, I think, is going to be a really big episode for this installment of Power. It's probably going to be one of our biggest episodes for Raising Kanan. It's written completely by Sasha Penn. 409 and 410 is written by the showrunner themselves. These two episodes, actually the last 3 episodes, 408, 409, and 410 are all written by Sasha Penn. That's the showrunner. The showrunner is doing those episodes. That's major movement. That ain't just storytelling. Like, we finna see some stuff happening in these episodes. Going back to my theory here, I think what I'm saying here is correct. I think they all gonna be in cahoots together against Raq, because by the end of this season, Raq loses her business. So if she was getting work from Buddy here, she ain't gonna continue to get it. So I think all of them are in cahoots with each other. I think Unique's probably gonna pull back up on Phil, like I said, and probably, get his backing. And I think that all of them are going to go against Raq. Kanan's still out here on this. Yo, I got to find out what happened to Famous. So he's probably going to be out here moving crazy. We see Unique back as Unique.
Good.
So I think Unique is ready to make his big reveal and let the world know that he's back. And that's it for the previews for next week. I think we're going to have a really the next 2 episodes are probably going to really lead us to the answer, just like we've already known what the answer was for Famous. I think the next 2 episodes are really going to lead us. Let me see some of these comments before we peace out. Okay, Xavier wants to know, do we think that Raq is making out alive after Raising Kanan is done? I think Raq is in Witset. I think Raq becomes the another Tasha.
I think she makes it out alive. She's not going to make it out unscathed. She's not going to make it out unscathed at all. I think something is going to happen traumatic to her. I don't know about what's it.
Oh, it's going to happen in episode 409.
Maybe she's got to go on the run.
Think about it. She finna lose her mama. She finna lose her brother. She already lost her son. And she finna lose her business. This is getting ready to take Raq. This is Raq's going out of business sale right here.
She probably gonna go on the run. She might have to go on the run. When I say she might go on the run,
I'm gonna tell you, Raq is getting ready to be out of business. Raq is getting ready to be out of business. At the end of this season, Raq is done. She cooked. She done. And I think this is what's going to transition Raq's character out of the story and more so Kanan into the story. This is where I think he's going to do battle with Unique going forward. Raq's getting ready to be retired. But remember, going back to an earlier episode where the lawyer was telling Raq that the feds had to get out of jail free card for Raq, and she wrote on Stefano. I think Raq getting ready. She already informant anyway. She do informant moves anyway. I think she's gonna end up talking about Stefano, and they're gonna end up putting her in Witset. And that's how we're gonna get Raq out of the story. Rock's going to end up going into Witset.
Good theory.
Yeah, Rock about to be washed. And yeah, you're right. Rock has the get out of jail free card. Yes.
I didn't think about that.
Unique will probably let Kanan explain everything. Somebody's gonna have to get through to Unique, and it might be Kanan, because actually it was Kanan's decision to unalive Ronnie, not Rock's.
Mm-hmm. You think my mother has something to do with that?
No, I put him down.
Oh, I'm the one that put Ronnie down. I'm the one that put Ronnie down, man. He was doing too much, and I told him, don't touch my mother. That's what I told him. You wouldn't listen. You wasn't gonna do it, so I had to do it.
Shut up, fool. You're so stupid.
I don't know what the problem is. If you ask me, nigga, I helped you out.
Right, because he tried to put you down.
He tried to put you down. You ask me, you owe me.
I don't trust Stefano, and I think Early Tyler is gonna mess up something over there at the bar. I think Stefano gonna flip on Rock. I just got a feeling.
I don't trust Stefano either, because you went behind Rock's back to have a conversation with Marvin, and you know that she wasn't gonna play that. You know she wasn't even gonna let that fly. That's still a part of her organization. So you go after, which is her brother, the hitman of their organization, to do odd jobs for you. Where they do that at, Stefano?
Dexter says, do we think that young Kanan is strong enough to carry the show without Rock?
Yes.
So if we get rid of Rock's character, do we think that the show is strong enough to keep going without the Thomas family? I mean, we get ready to lose Marvin. It's kind of like at this point, it's time, and we're presuming that season 5 is the last season for Raising Kanan. So it's time for Rock and the Thomas family to transition out. Lou will probably end up going off to California and be with Jessica. Or if he doesn't delete himself, because after he loses Marvin and Rock, there's nothing left for him. And they don't lost the mama. Juke's gonna end up moving off to DC.
I think the music industry is gonna be good for Lou. I just hope that he don't go back to some of his old habits. Now, if he go back to some of his old habits, he's definitely gonna end up unaliving himself.
He's getting ready to have the biggest loss of his life when he loses his big brother. When he loses Marvin, Lou gonna take that hard, and Lou gonna probably end up going back into the bottle, if not fully delete himself.
I hope he don't.
And then the mama's gonna be gone. Rock 2 sheets to the wind. Like, I don't think that Lou gets a happy ever after, if he doesn't go out in a blaze of glory.
I hope Lou.
We got to start thinking about some of the major characters being knocked off. It's time.
I hope Lou just stick with the music. That's the only one I really wish, because his hardship and what he went through. I hope he get a happy ending. He probably ain't, but I hope he does.
Nobody in the crime families ever get a happy ending in Power.
It's a fact.
They always lose something. So we'll see. All right, y'all. Well, that is this week's episode, and we'll be back next week to talk about next week's episode. So y'all drop down in the comments. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button on y'all way out, and y'all make sure y'all share the video out and drop y'all theories and thoughts in the comment section, because we'll continue these discussions. We will see you guys next week. Jack, you got anything before we sign off?
I got nothing at all, man. Y'all be safe. Y'all be blessed out there.
All right, I'm gonna tell you right now what's gonna happen. We'll see. All right, fam. We'll see y'all next week.